Lake Nipissing sits at the heart of our communities and in the winter becomes a reachable sight. Not only the location for this event, it is the festival's inspiration. Continuing with its rich history, presenting contemporary art in Northern Ontario's coldest month, Ice Follies Biennial returned to frozen Lake Nipissing in February of 2023 for 2 weeks, celebrating its 10th edition. Performance, large-scale art installations, community-engaged art, and workshops, along with a curated look back at the history of this one-of-a-kind festival. Come along, imagine yourself here, experiencing art and the warmth of community. See the sunrise and sunset, be nourished by the stillness of winter and transformative moments in time. Public Visualization Studio, Innumerable Ones, presented by Near North Mobile Media Lab. Innumerable Ones presents creatures inspired by Horaz Luis Borges, the Book of Imaginary Beings. Each creature on display has been conjured by collaborators connected to ArtFix and Near North Mobile Media Lab in North Bay. Through processes of social and technical translation, this project aims to explore our complex and often fragile relationships to place, to identity, and the natural world by dramatizing and questioning concepts of description, classification, and belonging. Carolyn Cadron Creven and Elizabeth Hill, Roof of Reprieve. What are we building, if it's not to house future generations? More akin to a tent than a home built with strong foundations and walls, this structure resonates somewhere in the middle, providing temporary relief from the elements. The interior offered a glimpse into further reflections through photographic art and soundscape design. Everything in our environment emits a frequency of sound which are either audible or inaudible. Hearing footsteps within the soundscape represent traveling through the seasons and the banjo of spring thaw. Approaching the exterior, you witnessed reflections of your surroundings. While inside the structure, you have a moment to appreciate the beauty of the cold. Onmatogsi, Anishnaabewin, for he, she speaks, is a professional Indigenous arts company that makes art with community in relationship with the land. Onmatogsi's stargazing dome gives audiences an opportunity to find shelter while gazing up at the stars. Anishinaabe stories tell us we come from the stars and we return to the stars. Onmatogsi artist investigated our relationship to the star world. The stargazing dome invites audiences to look up at the stars, dance, or consider our connection to all of creation. A prospector's tent on a sleigh looks at stories of how our ancestors traveled lightly on the land. Throughout elders' storytelling luncheons, artists explored stories of sharing food and caring for one another at a time when our communities were primarily living off the land. Amatogsi's Ancestor Lodge is the opportunity to look at our relationship to our ancestors and the stories that remind us of who we are as a family and community members. Guided by Amatogsi's lead artists, the Ice Shack was painted with young artists and workshop participants on Nipissing First Nation at Amatogsi's home, Big Medicine Studio. When winter arrives, the lake freezes over. It is storytelling time. Ice Follies is an important time to be in relationship with Lake Nipissing. Through intergenerational art making, feasting, storytelling, and performance, we seek to reestablish and strengthen historically rooted ways in which we have built community and worked together. What is our connection to language? What do we never want to lose? What do we want to pick up? And what do we want to pass on to future generations? These are some of the questions Amatogsi artists and community members explored in the months leading up to Ice Follies. A tamarack wigwam provides the frame for a canvas cover with artwork, stories, and Anishinaabewin language created by Amatogsi lead artist team, young artists, youth interns, and our multi-arts workshops and language workshop participants. A visit to the underwater world of Gitchin Nipissing Zaga Igan. A short projection installation by Dr. Toit Stenot Cease Weiss. Presented by Near North Mobile Media Lab, a short digital media loop that weaves both live action video of the water in layers, presented an effect of looking down into the lake, and a digital witnessing of the different life that exists in Lake Nipissing. There were animated versions of the water life and the shoreline habitat to create a visual and audioscape of the environment in and around Lake Nipissing. The effect is meant to give viewers a fantastical vision of what is going on under the water at any given time, and how the environment underwater is its own world of wonder that humans are not necessarily part of. Quinn Hopkins, Limited, Limitless, 2023. Quinn Hopkins was excited to create a part physical, part augmented reality, activated installation. The physical artwork was placed on the ice and used as a target for AR activation. Through a QR code, the viewer was able to access a virtual world hidden behind the lens of their personal smartphones, revealing the hidden world under the ice and the delicate balance of the ecosystem that is vital to our way of life. The title, Limited Limitless, is a reference to the human-fish relations that we have had for time immemorial. Isabelle Michaud, Albert, presented by Near North Mobile Media Lab. In a thin ice pocket that broke to a warmer than usual day lived a single bacterium named Albert. He built his home in his mind, imagined it all cozy and quiet by the light of the moon and by the dried reeds on the shores. The wind blew at night, howling, but that didn't scare Albert. His love for his home grew and grew, such that he started to glow. This inner light grew out of adversity, and for this, Albert was stronger than ever. The Ice Follies Experience, an ice shanty curated by Dermot Wilson. The Ice Follies Experience is an historical installation in a vintage ice fishing shack. Inside the 64-square-foot repurposed ice shack, visitors found low-resolution photocopied images of young and old who visited over the past 9 incarnations. A soundtrack featuring interviews with past Ice Folly artists talked about their experiences. The installation becomes an artifact of a truly northern event and humanizes the site-specific exhibition by reflecting upon the community that was attracted to and mystified by these installations. Imogen Clendinning, Archive on Ice. Archive on Ice involves creating a digital mini-archive of documentation from past Ice Folly events and a live microsite that is powered by a solar panel and hosted with a Raspberry Pi server. The server is housed in a protective art installation on the frozen ice of Lake Nipissing. Imogen hopes to create a reciprocal relationship with the lake and present the technology as a collaboration with the earth rather than an extraction of resources. This process was documented through photographs and field recordings. Impulse by Andrew Ackerman, Chris Kozlowski, Quinn Peltier, and Nipissing University students Jada Dejoux, Evan Martin, Haley Park, Caitlin Tremblay, and Megan Taylor. Impulse is a site-specific sculpture installation consisting of several organic and geometrically shaped translucent forms, resembling fragments of ice that have punctured the solid yet permeable surface. LED lights contained within the sculptural fragments emit a warm pinkish-red glow that contrasts with the cold bluish winter landscape, and which from a distance resemble fire pits. Thin Ice, which explores our shifting landscapes and communities, is also informed by the sense of precarity, fragility, and vulnerability evoked by the theme. When experienced alone and at night, the expansive frozen plain of Lake Nipissing can elicit notions of isolation, danger, and even fear, not unlike the experience faced by many of us over the past several years of the pandemic. As we emerge from this isolation, this long period of dormancy, we encounter new opportunities to connect with each other. Yet we are also reminded of the lingering dangers that exist. Both the lake and the sculpture serve as metaphors for the new possibilities that lie ahead, as well as the tenuous and precarious state of this new shifting social landscape. Ice Follies Biennial aims to encourage audiences to experience art outside the context of the institution and engages a visceral interaction with the local landscape. A canvas as tranquil as it is volatile, the works are placed in direct harmony with light, water, wind, ice, and snow. The installations, performances, and interventions shape a dialogue between art and sight. Attendance to Ice Follies is free and open to the public 24 hours a day. We warmly welcome you to layer up and join us in February of 2025.